computer. Just love that voice.
World needs another one of those voices.
Yes.
I remember at some AT&T event, they actually invited that woman up on stage who was the voiceover for all of AT&T. I don't know.
Yeah.
CES Vegas AT&T events back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she got a standing ovation because, you know, you don't know what these people look like, right? You don't have an idea who they are, right? You know, it's kind of like, it's pretty interesting. You know, put the voice behind the person, you know?
Absolutely. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I was, you know, I'm sitting here, you know, waiting to get let in, and all I kept on thinking was, man, I must have pissed somebody off last week, and I know who it was. For not seeing him, not talking to him at the show. I'm like going, wow, I'm getting disbarred from IoT Coffee Talk.
I was surprised to post that.
Yeah, he did. I responded. I mean, what am I going to do?
It's like, oh my gosh, dude. Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
What are you up to this week?
Actually, I just got back from Las Vegas yesterday. I went to the Packers game Monday night.
Saw your picture post. Yeah.
Yep, it was. I'm gonna have you. You haven't been to that stadium yet, have you?
No, not yet.
It was freaking awesome.
That's cool.
It's a beautiful place. Really is a beautiful place.
That's great.
I was really amazed at how well they did, and the food and everything, except for the one thing, Rob, which I was really pissed off about, which was leaving there. So because of where it is, the Uber stuff is like almost impossible. And so, you know, 20, 30,000 of your friends are walking across that damn bridge over towards the Luxor to get to the Strip.
Yeah.
It just, and I hate to, you know, obviously thinking about Israel and everything else, I'm like going, oh my God, if someone wanted to take out 10,000 people really quick, they're shoved on this bridge going over the highway over to the Luxor. You know, it's just like, and then they asked me for a survey. I got a survey late yesterday, and I responded late last night. I'm like going, everything is perfect. The stadium's cool. It's easy to get around. The bathrooms are great. The food was phenomenal. Getting in was painless. You know, the scan worked great. Everything was great until you got out of there and go, I'm walking 45 minutes back to MGM as a piece of cattle going for the slaughter.
Right.
So that was the only thing that I was not happy with. But other than that, it was freaking awesome.
That's no bueno. I didn't even. So they built is it a pedestrian bridge across the freeway?
No, it looks like it's a road bridge.
Normal road.
But it becomes that on the way out, which was ridiculous.
And it has you come out by the Luxor or something?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's where the other end of the bridge is.
Yeah. And, friends don't let friends get near the Luxor.
Well, you know, now let me tell you, if you were drunk, it's true. It's true. But I can assure you there were 8,000 people going to the bathroom in the Luxor.
I bet. I hope they actually made it into real bathrooms in there.
Yeah, right.
Never know.
Yeah, it was that part.
That 1-2 punch of Luxor and Excalibur.
And the walk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's certainly no bueno. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was not fun on the way back.
So were you able to see the sphere in the distance?
Yes. No, not from the stadium. Yeah. No, it was blocked by like too many places.
Okay. All right.
So
definitely been seeing different friends posting stuff from
Well, what I was more impressed with was I was really amazed at the difference in 1 week since we were there of the Formula One setup. I mean, these guys have really done a great job in a week. So I think I feel a little bit more that they're going to get ready. They're going to be able to get there, right? So that was really big.
Where is the track? Where do they do that?
So they bought a big, huge piece of property. So if you're at Top Golf shooting the balls, it's in that corner of Harmon.
Okay.
So that's where the pit lane is and the major grandstand and all the offices and everything else will be there. So you come out of there, go around the grandstand and go down that street towards the Sands Convention Center.
Yep.
That whole area has got hospitality suites.
Okay.
You get down to the Sands Convention Center, you bang a left. So you go underneath the monorail,
right?
Bang a left, go around that bend in front of the Sands to the Strip, make a left, go 230 miles an hour down the Strip to Harmon, it's now a banked Harmon intersection.
Okay.
Banked into there, and you go down Harmon back to pit lane, back to the front strip.
Gotcha. Wow.
Oh yeah. I was trying to explain it to the Uber drivers because everybody that lives there is not happy, right? Because you're not going to be able to go there. It's not going to be fun. They don't have any discounted tickets for locals. Nothing. I said, don't get me wrong. I got season tickets to Austin. I got season tickets to Miami. Eventually I will go to Vegas to see it. But you could sit there in front of the Mirage or sit there in front of the hotel, and here's what you're going to see. Zing, zing, zing. In this view. That's it. So if you're willing to spend $10,000 for the weekend for that view, you ain't, it's a different experience.
Inquiring minds want to know, speaking of the Mirage, have they removed the volcano? I remember hearing all that.
So it is not operational because they built grandstands over the water.
Okay.
So, and the Mirage tried to tell Formula One that we're not paying the price to be able to build a grandstand on our property to do that.
Yeah.
Formula One turns around and comes back and says, absolutely, you don't have to pay. And they were like, but we're going to build a wall in front of your grandstands because we own the street. I mean, they own the street for the race weekend, so they can build all the walls they want.
There you go, Mr. Vasquez, Mr. Pugh. Guys,
what's going on, gentlemen?
What's up?
Just listening to you guys talk about this, I guess, Formula One in Vegas. But all I know is that they didn't sell out the tickets as quick as they wanted to. And a lot of folks who are locals in Clark County, Las Vegas, are really pissed off that, they were offered preferential pricing.
Yeah.
But what ended up being was they got the leftovers once they couldn't sell everything. And, it sucks. I think it's such a cool event to, if it comes to your town and if you live in the right zip code, you should, have some type of special access. But apparently it did not go as planned or promised.
Oh,
well, Formula One paid $10 billion for the rights to be there. They have to return that money somehow. And even me, David, my seats for Miami have gone from I paid $1,000 a seat for 4 seats in the first year, and it's now up to 7.
Whoa!
In 4 seats. So, and I'm a Florida resident. They don't give a shit. I have relatives in Miami. I could have used their residence to get the tickets. No discounts.
Yeah, you know what I do, man? On Sundays, I whip out the old VCR and I watch Ayrton Senna and Mansell and Schumacher and it's just as good.
Oh my God! There you go.
So, what does it say on your hat?
It says, you know what? It's got a picture of our own Cascade Mountains here in the Northwest.
Oh,
and it's at Cascades and the North Face.
excellent. Excellent.
There.
Okay.
Wow. As we say in Seattle, North Face is the Seattle tuxedo. That's one thing I learned living up here all these years. They don't have any style or fashion in the Pacific Northwest at all. Gone.
You've got
North Face style.
So North Face would be as good as it gets, like you wearing some fleece.
Rob, I've never seen you in a plaid shirt before, in a belt.
Yeah, trying to do the
Rob, we cannot leave behind the handmade duck style brown boot with the jeans, the dress shirt, and the Patagonia black vest. The VC uniform.
The VC uniform. Yes, exactly. That's a good point. You're right. Yeah.
Is that the new grunge? Is that the new grunge look, David? Is that what that is?
I don't know that that's grunge. Like, at all. It's just your very, what is it? Venture bro uniform.
Venture bro. I kind of feel like I need to get that uniform. There was some startup. They may have already died, but I remember the news about them several years ago. And literally, they just put up a website and they were making the VC uniform like fashion, and you could buy all the stuff to look like a VC. And included the Patagonia vest.
Was that it?
That's crazy.
That's just damn sad, man. That's just, I'm sorry, I wasn't going to say anything, but that is just damn sad.
The uniform?
Yes.
Wait, why is it sad, Bill? Tell us.
Look, man, I'm gonna put it like this. One of my mentors told me a long time ago, right? In an individual thought is worth its weight in gold, right? This copycat society that says, hey, did you see what those guys in Palo Alto were wearing on Sand Hill Road? If you want to appear to be rich or wealthy, dress like that, right? And when I look at that, I'm like, who are you trying to be? I don't have an individual thought, therefore I will copy someone else's.
Are we talking about people dressing a certain way, or IoT asset tracking, where everyone just copies the other thing?
Both. You can dress your solution up like the other guys.
Yeah. Have you heard the letters IoT finally today? Excellent. Thank you for that.
Well, this is why I show up, keep you guys in track.
Thank you.
But you know what? Maybe we do this back and forth, because it is a societal thing. We know. We started with the VC bro look, but we've known about the Steve Jobs look.
Yeah.
We've known about the whole body language posture, like literally if you are a woman, how should you place your hands? I actually was just reading in the Times, like that was debunked research. There was no science behind that, but still do this look to convey power, wear this to convey that. We are visual people, and
don't point.
No, you'd never point at people, man. You don't point over there. Pow, 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 my grandpa would say. But we like to emulate. Isn't this how we survive in the jungle? Let me look at the other cats, see who's fat and alive, and let me do what they're doing.
It's true, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I could never. I've had a problem with towing the line and following, stat quo and all of that kind of stuff. I was always the one where everybody else is running over there. I'm like, I'm going over here. They're like, what are you doing? I'm going to find some shit. I'm going in this direction.
I don't know. I never would have guessed that.
Bill is the hyper individual.
I can't. It was. Maybe it's the whole thing, right? It is a societal thing, right? Because all of us, right, have kids. And kids need structure, but they also need the room to express themselves.
Yeah.
Right. But when I was coming up, it was a recipe. You go to school, you get out of school, you go get a job, and you stay there for 20 plus years and take your 401k or pension or retirement, whatever it is,
and watch. And watch.
Yeah. You got to get that.
Yeah.
You ride off into the sunset. and somewhere along the way, I realized, you know what? This recipe that you gave me is missing some ingredients.
Yeah.
That whole thing about go to school, yeah, for some. That whole thing about go get a job, yeah, for some. And the same mentor that told me about the individual thought is the same one that told me that the definition of a job is just over broke.
Just over broke.
That's true.
You will never become the VC bro unless you exercise individual thought and follow your passion. That's what I teach my kids. I'm like, follow your passion. You don't want to do what I'm doing? I'm good. But go do something.
I'm going to keep playing devil's advocate to two of your points, Bill. I think if we go way back in the day, let's just pick the US just to, geographically locate it. There was absolutely a time in the US when we had manufacturing here, for example, where you can put your head down out of school or out of trade school and go into a place and commit to giving your time, your energy, your skill, your talent to this company for 20, 25, 30 years. And in exchange for that, there will be a watch, a pension, a pat in the back. At that time, that person with that job was actually well above being broke, and they can purchase a house, a decent family car, send their kids to school, and that's all but gone. Now we know this, so it's nothing to follow, but I think a lot of folks still have that expectation of what you described, like that is just gone.
Yeah.
And then with a bit of follow your passion, I have a problem with follow your passion, because I might be a passionate painter, but you know what, Bill, if you saw my stuff, I suck and it's not going to pay the bills. So for someone to follow their passion, someone's got to be paying rent for them to follow their passion.
Hey, but you know what? You would quickly realize that your passion wasn't going to pay you.
Very quickly.
So you would find something else.
I would pivot. But see, that's the balance. If we bring it to the kids, imagine if you know what, if you were my dad and you said that, I get it. Hey, follow your passion, but you suck at this, go find something else. But we all know that there's someone telling Billy and Susie right now, follow your passion, with no structure. Like, right. I got you. And when these kids become adults, and then they realize that their painting sucks and they have no skills, whatever. Now we have a problem. And we have a lot of these folks.
We do. I've talked to some of the youth, and when I ask them, what's your plan? Oh, hey, I'm gonna go be an influencer. And who the hell are you influencing? Who in the hell are you influencing?
Hey, Bill, I'm sorry. Anybody can be an influencer. It's whether you make money or not doing it.
Yeah, well, in their mind, that's what it is. Hey, I see all these people on making all this content, and they're influencers, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I'm like, okay.
I mean,
we know what that is. FA and FO.
Someone needs to put that in a y-axis.
Bill, when I first heard you talk, you mentioned the word mentor. You said your mentor right at the beginning of this discussion.
Yep.
I'm going to apologize in advance. The person that's face popped into my head that I thought is Bill's mentor was Dak Prescott.
Oh, get the hell out of Dodge. Not at all. Not at all.
Your Cowboys look like
not this week at least.
look like a high school team this weekend. Oh my God!
You know what I believe? I firmly believe this. You know, they have like the preteen dinners and everything like that.
Oh, shit.
I believe that every single one of them ate a box of Ex-Lax and jumped on the field.
That was the most embarrassing.
Or mushrooms, either one.
It was Ex-Lax because they got the shit knocked out of them. What the hell was that?
Oh my God! Yeah, that was
for Marc.
I will tell you, Rob and I were talking about it. I just got back from Vegas yesterday. I went like an idiot. I went back to see the Packers game at this. If you have not been to that stadium in Vegas,
it's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my Packers didn't fare any better either way. We don't have a lot of love going on right now.
No, you don't.
Not really.
As a matter of fact, is that Dak Prescott's son?
It ain't Aaron Rodgers, I can tell you that.
Wow, but thank God that Purdy kid doesn't get any respect.
Oh my gosh.
Really delivered.
Well, I mean, come on, man. I mean, look, let's be real about that, right? Purdy is not a great quarterback. He's not. You know what he has?
Don't tell me Kyle Shanahan or I'm going to throw up.
He has an awesome offensive mind. That's the coach. Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Are we talking about Kyle Shanahan? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. So the guy that blew a 28-3 lead.
Yep.
Really, that offensive coordinator.
I didn't say he was going to win the Super Bowl. I did not say that.
Why are we arguing over football, which is like politics and religion in a public forum? How about we come together as brothers and sisters? And if we want to talk about things in a stadium, I don't know, can we get into like neutral host or facial?
Oh, you want to talk tech? Let's go.
We got 27 minutes. David, I was really hoping that we would get through this whole thing without that tech talk.
No, see, Marc and I, we don't follow your football. We don't care how many home runs you score in that game. It doesn't really matter to us, okay? So let's keep it topical, people. Come on now.
Well, I only know that the U.S. team was fourth in the World Championship of basketball. So not first, second, or third. But yeah, I never listen about this here on this podcast.
There's that.
Look at Steve rocking the medal.
I love that. Has anything happened this week in tech?
Where?
I don't think, the one that I have, I was reading an article over the weekend. Rockwell Automation, or as Alan Bradley, as I still call him from time to time, because I just twitch. They announced this as a service strategy a couple of years ago. So I was reading a follow-up article, and I was having a discussion with some other folks in the business that I think is going to work out for them. And here's why. There's going to be only a handful of people in manufacturing that don't have a Siemens, Rockwell, Schneider kit, right? And we need physical hardware for control equipment. If someone says virtualize, punch them in the mouth and kick them out of your factory. But the premise of 3 years ago, this hardware manufacturer, Rockwell, talking about becoming an as-a-service player, it might play out because the folks that are running industry right now are familiar with software as a service. They understand that commercial model. They are consuming that model today. So the discussion was around, I think we will get into a place where a commodity piece of hardware is still being sold. We need that, but the way that it is paid for is completely different. Software will be at the core, and there will be some sort of service differentiation. So I wanted to kick that, and I think it's timely because I know Marc was playing with this with Balena and a big shielded PLC RTU looking thing the other day from what's the name of the company, Marc? They're in Spain too, right?
Yeah, this is a company nearby Barcelona. It's called Industrial Shields, and they created PLCs from open source hardware. So basically, they have three PLCs. One with Arduino, that it's how they started. Then an ESP32, and they have as well Raspberry Pi based on PLC. And then they certify these, and they have the same certification grade than Siemens PLCs. So then companies have these, they can go for Siemens and pay 3 times more than going with something that's open source and has exactly the same certification and the same industrial grade.
And what's and how's it going for them? Because again, like I'll keep going back to being traditional about certain things. I find it very hard for an established manufacturing company to ever leave their machine maker, their control maker. But by the same time, I think so, having a smaller company doing open source things can enable a lot of innovation for the mom and pop shop that don't have the money to go to Schneider, Siemens, Rockwell, the big guys. So how are they penetrating traditional industry, or are they focused on the, mom and pop shops right now?
Yeah, I visited them a couple of weeks ago. They are like 50 miles from Barcelona, and they sell a few hundreds of thousands of units every year. So I'm not sure if this is a lot or not. Basically, they sell to ISVs, construction manufacturers. I don't know. The only thing I know is that they are growing, so they are just getting new buildings rented next to the building that I visited. So I guess that they are doing well. Of course, competing with Siemens or Rockwell, it's other words, but yeah, it gives you other added value, right? To depend on open source and to enable anyone to just extend on top of that. Having said that, I guess that the competition it will be really hard in a few years.
Yeah, and maybe there's like in a way, I mean, PLC is a PLC is a PLC is control equipment. What can you program? Does it work? Is it reliable, et cetera, et cetera? But I think just the thought of like, what if they are as good as the big guys? Because now the big guy, you cannot compete on price the other way around. Right. And then we also get into the thing, and I know Bill and I sometimes talk about good enough. What if this thing is half the cost, 80% of the quality, but for half off times all the it's like good enough is good enough. I don't need the best.
Again, David, if you look at, and I'm going to you said Rockwell, Allen Bradley, Siemens, MindSphere, all of them have it as a service available, but so does Honeywell, Stanley Black & Decker, and any of those service providers as well. Wasn't it? I mean, I've talked to every one of those guys in a variety of different fashions about it. It was more to capture that SMB mid-tier size company than it was to go. No one's doing that for the large manufacturing organizations. So it goes back to the idea is that are those smaller organizations run by younger people that are willing to take the risk on the SaaS model for manufacturing line controls and buying Marc's friends' PLCs because they're cool, they're young enough to understand how that technology is going to work because a PLC is a PLC if it functionally does and provides the same data, right? So I agree. I think this more as a service on the industrial side, along with very cool PLCs that are open source, are a great way to go forward. I mean,
but you know what, Steve? There's a bit of confusion with calling as a service as if it was a financial model. Here's what I mean. If I'm selling you a box and the box is, hey, pay me $10 one unit one time versus pay me $1 10 times once per month, it's still $10. I just went CapEx over OpEx. And some were doing that, basically breaking the payment out, calling it as a service, but there were no services on top of the box. Right?
Come on, get access to the cloud. Isn't that a service?
Oh, come on, man. No.
Where is the cloud?
No. And
recurring revenue.
No, and speaking, we're going to stay on. I'm going to keep us on topic here. Speaking of Siemens, they're now they've announced their private 5G. I think it was well over a year ago, but now it's GA. I think it's GA as of a couple of weeks ago. Like, people can buy this, and I'm like just keeping my ears to the ground, because here is someone from industry. These guys make the stuff that make the stuff, and they have 5G kit private that works for those that make stuff. It's global. It's there. We know the spectrum play. And I've just been, super cheeky in the comments to see if there's anytime, hey, are you doing a telco partnership? And, and I'm getting this. Like, I'm like, God.
I mean, but well, it remains to be seen as to what that adoption curve looks like. And the jury is still out. But going back to Steve, going back to your point, I think that, at least from my perspective, when I look at it, you've got these big players, and we named the big boys, right? Your Honeywells, your Siemens, and all of them. Go back years, and for years, they've been hardware plays. The reinvention of themselves to become SaaS or licensed players is what you're seeing. And you're seeing a hard push, because hardware sells once. And they're looking for that ARR.
Yeah, exactly. Because the hardware margins are getting smaller and smaller.
And they're going to continue to get that compression. But what you're also seeing is you're seeing a new generation of individuals that are saying, we can solve that same problem, and we don't have to do it that way. Oh, wait a minute, that's an individual thought. And that individual.
I see what you did there, man.
He brought it back. It wasn't me. It was him.
Hey, I'm just saying that's an individual thought, because they are looking at it, because there's only so many problems to solve in the world, right? And if you don't start to look at these aging solutions and say, well, wait a minute, I see what problem you're solving, but these problems are no longer the same, which is why you need to, Mr. Hardware Provider, reinvent yourself to solve these problems in a new way. And the younger generation is coming after it.
How about just eliminate the DIN rail?
You can't do that.
Where are you going to put stuff, Steve? Where are you going to just put it on your desk and run a wire? Tell me how
new generations don't want DIN rail, right?
That's right.
No, but one comment, yeah. So this is like a question that I asked myself, and maybe I already did here. But so at Balena, what we do is we enable software updates and operating system updates, right, on devices in the edge. But I'm struggling to see industrial companies accepting this. Do you think new generations are going to accept like software updates on devices? Because actually you are explaining this, right? If you want to pay a SaaS for your hardware service, it's because, you get an update, or you get a new service, or you get something new running on your device that gives you added value. If not, why I need to pay every month, not for the same that I can get in a one-shot payment.
But I mean, I think to that extent, I think that even that is not so new, right? I mean, because when I was in with a company and everything like that, I mean, I would get into heavy debates about the idea of just give the hardware away. Give it away.
Give it away now.
Give it away now. Right? Give it away, and now you have
you
hardware.
For free?
Yeah,
giving away for free.
You're gonna recoup your cost.
Buried into the monthly.
But I mean, because look at the hardware piece of it, right? They're going to sell the hardware, and it's always a cost plus model, right? We need to make sure that we make 38, 43 points in margin. So what if it costs us $300? Well, we're going to add that on, and then we're going to sell it. And then, oh, by the way, you want maintenance and support and all this other stuff. And it's an antiquated play. It's an antiquated play. That cost to build that device, and we all have gone through this, is, a few dollars, So why not just bake that into a service offering? And Marc, you mentioned it. You offer a service to maintain the integrity of that device and keep it operational, functional, updated, because the hardware is not really going to change that much over time. But you're adding that service. So we're going to make sure that you keep we're going to patch it. We're going to make sure you don't get CVEs, that are left open. We're going to make sure that you get new functionality by firmware updates. We're going to make sure that we add these value-added services on top of that hardware platform.
Yeah. Maybe that's to wrap your arms around the whole thing.
Here's a couple of reasons not to do it, Bill. And before I tell you the reasons, I just wanted to say that I knew that Give It Away Now is from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. No, but here's why this matters. Because I have been on this program many times admitting my ignorance of certain amazing bands.
I know, we got you Fleetwood Mac last week.
Yes.
But David, you can say that you disagree with Bill.
Oh, no, I know. Well, of course you disagree. But Bill, let me tell you why is a couple of problems of what you said, of giving the hardware away because you're going to make it with everything you described.
Right.
Number one, because I'm the little guy and I just cannot afford it. Period. Like I have no funding. I cannot do it. It'll never get off the ground. Number two, I'm a big guy, so I have the money, but my procurement and business organization cannot think differently because they're all 80 years away from retirement and they're not going to take any risks. So they're not going to do that either. And if they do, I know you know who I'm talking about. The billing system won't support it. So I will have to invest.
Just spend another $1 million on Amdocs. It'll work.
Yes, sure. Let's do it with Amdocs. No, but jokes aside, I think now it's just expected. I think most of the OEMs that sell boxes, the ones that didn't adapt to CapEx, OpEx as a service, they've been dead and acquired and in the dust already. Like everyone, when it gets to hardware, it's like, hey, how can we make this work? And and there's so many billing relationships.
You mean Cisco has been acquired by someone else?
No, who did you say Cisco? Well, I mean, they still have money. They just bought Splunk to give a hard time to Palo Alto. That was a sweet move.
They bought Splunk because they have zero on security.
Right.
They suck.
Yeah. And it hurt me because I have a client that I'm trying to get into Cisco Jasper for the security side of it, and they won't return my call.
Oh, I thought that was the weirdest thing when I saw the news about the Splunk acquisition, and the headline was acquiring security company Splunk. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've known Splunk forever. They're not a security company.
They must have sold them.
They're a data parsing company.
They're an indexing company.
Yeah.
They're indexing, and that
did they pivot or something in the last few years, and I just wasn't paying attention?
No, they've got some security capabilities on the data that they index. But I want to get back to David's point. These companies, small or large, that don't adopt this mindset, they'll be crushed.
Yeah, and it's coming from board of directors, it's coming from shareholders, that the recurring revenue has got to be a huger part of their overall revenue model. It just seems to be being pushed down to the executive management teams. and that's really what they're thinking.
Well, let's look at life cycle, right? So Marc goes out, he's got a box full of these PLCs, and by the way, it might not even be Marc and his company that manufacture these PLCs. But the relationship between the hardware manufacturer and Marc's company says that we're going to go jointly offer this solution. Marc, you take care of the services side and just give us a bit of the rev share, and we're going to take care of the hardware side, and here's how we're going to work it out. Now, this is two small companies that make a big play. And it will be adopted. Because the simple fact that the life cycle of these devices that goes into any industrial manufacturing location is going to be 5 to 10 years. So why not have the service end of it on top that's keeping these things updated and offer some nice little RMA program that says if it has any infant mortality, we'll take care of it. Your services continue. But when it's time to change those out to the next version, hey, Mr. Hardware Partner, here they are again. You get that big sale, and we continue on our services business. I mean, not rocket science or anything. And by the way, you can just tell them to hold on while I overthink this, because that's what's happening when they're sitting here trying to figure out what they're going to do about the whole thing. Hardware sells once. You will not continue to get these 40 and 50 point margin deals unless you have services behind it. Take Marc and his firmware updates and go make some real business.
But Bill, one question. So let's create fiction numbers here. But let's say that the PLC costs $1,000. I don't know. I don't care. And then the lifespan of that PLC it's 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. So why a company will pay more than that $1,000 in these 20 years for the service? You need not so the PLC is just a really tiny part of everything that you have to offer, just to try to make them make money.
The service part
money,
of it,
right?
The service part of it has to be comprised of various things, right? Because I, as the manufacturing company that's using this, need to see continued value over time. So it's beyond just the firmware updates, the security updates. It's beyond that. Now, can you take the other devices that I have over here and can you ingest that data and give me some indication of how my overall plant is doing? Well, yes, we can do that as well. So because from your perspective, I don't care what the PLC or the device is or anything like that, but I tell you what I can do. I can help you curate your data and I can help you decide what you need to do when you need to do it. These are the services that they're going to be looking for to operate an efficient manufacturing environment.
So what we are saying is that it's not about that your SAP or whatever system accepts recurring payments. Is that you need a strategy, a long-term strategy, right? To transform your industry and to make it, to modernize it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because on your last comment, Bill, and this time I'm going to agree. If we brought this down to an end user and operator, you know what? That person that bought the PLC from Marc that has a 20-year expectancy, he or she bought that PLC with a 20-year life expectancy so that he or she can worry about running a business and will not think about that damn PLC until it breaks.
Right.
Like, it's just like, I don't want, like, whatever I sign, whatever agreement, whatever, it doesn't matter. I am making widgets and it's done. And so that makes it hard when, back to the whole, hey, we can do all these things. These operators, they're putting out fires, man. They can find stuff. They're, like, people don't, they have all these issues. And I don't know. I just wanted to go on a tangent about, relationships, right? Because big companies, firing people left and right. And, the reason you've been selling all these boxes is because the sales guy knows the buyer's name, knows the kids' names, where they go to school, which temple or church they pray. And we forget that there's like this relationship happening. And I did say I was going to go on a tangent because it has nothing to do with anything. But anyway, that's where my head went. That we can try to drive service value on commodity hardware and do a great job, but the operator, they're not thinking about it. And the OEM will be lucky if they get the first phone call when that person has a glimpse of innovation and they choose to ask the box OEM, hey, I have this idea. Is this something you could do? Because I moved on to sell the other PLCs for the next 20 years, right? I might not have time to try to figure out what else can we do once I've installed. It's hard.
But aren't we really, at the end of the day, as business people, as business owners, as technologists, as all of that, aren't we really looking at you can't continue, we talked about it before, you can't continue to keep doing the same old thing and expect different results. So business transformation is part of digital transformation across the board, right? It's people, process, and technology. Unless you make those transformations, unless you start to look at these operational efficiencies, the improvements to drive down costs, whether it be business costs, whether it be OpEx or CapEx or what have you, you're going to stay in that vortex of nothingness.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't get fired for buying Rockwell.
You should be.
No, that's the thing.
No, you should be. And that's where the disruption, comes in.
Just do a bundle, Rockwell with Stratix switches. You'll be good.
I mean, there's the big thing with those is they get those big industrial contracts that are long lasting.
Yeah, which does not have a lot of digital transformation involved.
No, but I mean, it happens to all of them. They get exposed. Look, we talk about it. What's the biggest problem that you're seeing on let's just look at utilities on the grid side of the world. It's 80 years old. And you see the impact on the consumer side. Rolling blackouts, rolling brownouts, power down. And, oh, by the way, we're going to have all of these EVs and it's going to come online. And, oh, my God, what are we going to do about this? I mean, unless you transform your business and operations, get yourself in a casket.
I think that's that was the closing statement. Unless you transform, die.
I like that.
And by the way, talking about transforming and answering Rob, Tiffany's question about what is new on technology the last week is the Raspberry Pi 5. Actually, that was released, if I'm not wrong, last week or a couple of weeks ago. It's 4 times faster than the Raspberry Pi 4 with a lot of new things.
I pre-ordered mine on Pi Hut. Yeah.
I pre-ordered one, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it looks good. Looks good.
All right, are we going to the bottom of the hour? Do we only have a minute left, or is there more? You guys going to stay on? Because I know that David and I got to drop.
No, you're right. We can shut it down. That's fine.
Well, I just want to say that, Elevate Our Kids, I made my donation to buy a complete laptop. Anybody that's out there, go to elevateourkids.org. We got the annual campaign going on right now to get that out, and it's an unbelievable cause. And I don't know, I think the number was like 9,000 has been donated so far. And to make sure, if you're an IoT Coffee Talk person and you're a listener and you're a follower, go do your thing. It's an unbelievable cause. So that's my last thing. And Rob, I want to know more about what you just posted in the chat, please.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you on the internet.
Oh my God! Really?
The balloons. See, we're going to leave the episode like this. Talk about the copycats. So now Teams and Zoom and every platform has this thing where I go like this, and there's like there it is. See, look at that. Fireworks. Did I say fireworks? No, that's happening automatically. Let me try the peace sign, and I just got balloons. Look at that. Look at that. Yes.
You know, you young people know how to do this stuff. It's unbelievable.
You know what? I'm gonna go inflate real balloons with helium and suck some in to have a funny voice.
Listen,
helium.
If you want to make some money this week, you might as well just do a couple bong hits and you'll be fine.
There you go.
Bye, you guys.
See y'all later.
Have a great day. Bye, guys.